For them, diplomacy is merely a tool to deceive others. It is for the second time that they invade our countries during negotiations.
The United States is conducting an operation to eliminate the threat of Iran's short-range ballistic missiles and the threat posed by their Navy, particularly to naval assets. That is what it is focused on doing right now, and it's doing quite successfully. I'll leave it to the Pentagon and the Department of War to discuss the tactics behind that and the progress that's being made. That is the clear objective of this mission. The second question that's been asked is, why now? Well, there's two reasons why now. The first is it was abundantly clear that if Iran came under attack by anyone, the United States or Israel or anyone, they were going to respond against the United States. The orders had been delegated down to the field commanders. It was automatic. If we stood and waited for that attack to come first before we hit them, we would suffer much higher casualties. And so the president made the very wise decision. We knew that there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that that would precipitate an attack against American forces. And we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched those attacks, we would suffer higher casualties and perhaps even higher those killed. And then we would all be here answering questions about why we knew that and didn't act. So that was the purpose for what this operation is all about. That's what it's focused on. As the president said earlier today, it is on or ahead of schedule. I will defer to the Department of War to discuss the progress being made at a tactical level, but it was the right decision and an important decision for the safety and security of the world.
And was there an imminent threat? Did you tell lawmakers that there was an imminent threat?
There absolutely was an imminent threat, and the imminent threat was that we knew that if Iran was attacked, and we believed they would be attacked, that they would immediately come after us. And we were not going to sit there and absorb a blow before we responded, because the Department of War assessed that if we did that, if we waited for them to hit us first after they were attacked, and by someone else, Israel attacked them, they hit us first, and we waited for them to hit us, we would suffer more casualties and more deaths. We went proactively in a defensive way to prevent them from inflicting higher damage. Had we not done so, there would have been hearings on Capitol Hill about how we knew that this was going to happen and we didn't act preemptively to prevent more casualties and more loss of life.
So are you saying, based on that, are you saying that there is no responsibility, no plan for the U.S. to at least play a role in whatever government comes next?
We might. We'll see how circumstances play out, but I'm telling you what the objectives of this operation are. The objectives of this operation are to destroy their ballistic missile capability and make sure they can't rebuild it, and make sure that they can't hide behind that to have a nuclear program. That's the objective of the mission. That said, abundantly clear, we would love for there to be an Iran that's not governed by radical Shia clerics. As I've said myself repeatedly for years, the leadership of that country does not reflect the people of Iran, and I think that's been pretty apparent in the protests that you've seen. If there's something we can do to help them down the road, we'd obviously be open to it, but that's not the objective. The objective of this mission is the destruction of their ballistic missile capability.
Is there a diplomatic exchange going on right now between the U.S. and Iran? Any exchanges whatsoever outside of
No, not at this time. I mean, look, we always have people that reach out from inside of governments. You don't know if they're authorized to reach out or not. They're suffering a tremendous amount of damage. Honestly, again, I'm not going to give away the details of our tactical efforts, but the hardest hits are yet to come from the U.S. military. The next phase will be even more punishing on Iran than it is right now. Someone was screaming, how long will it take? I don't know how long it'll take. We have objectives. We will do this as long as it takes to achieve those objectives, and we will achieve those objectives. The world will be a safer place when we're done with this operation. All right? Thank you, guys. Thank you.
כוחותינו הולמים עכשיו בלב טהרן בעוצמות הולכות וגוברות, וזה רק ילך ויתגבר עוד יותר במהלך הימים הקרובים. אלה ימים כואבים. אתמול כאן בתל אביב, ועכשיו בבית שמש, איבדנו אנשים יקרים. ליבי יוצא למשפחות, ואני שולח בשם כולכם אזרחי ישראל איחולי החלמה לפצועים. ואנחנו מביאים למערכה הזאת גם את סיועה של ארצות הברית, את ידידי, נשיא ארצות הברית דונלד טראמפ, את צבא ארצות הברית, ושילוב הכוחות הזה מאפשר לנו לעשות את מה שאני מייחל לעשות כבר 40 שנה. להכות את משטר הטרור שוק על ירך.
Lies, deception, and misrepresentation has always been a fundamental tool of the U.S. foreign policy. This is what has been called as weapons of mass deception of the U.S. Historically, they used deception and disinformation to invade other countries. This war was launched by the U.S. President, who attempted to portray himself as a man of peace and asking for Nobel Peace Prize. Even when they talked about peace, it is a lie. And if they call for diplomacy, it is but deception. For them, diplomacy is merely a tool to deceive others. It is for the second time that they invade our countries during negotiations. Today, we are supposed to hold technical meetings here in Vienna. Based on such deceptions and unfounded allegations, they targeted our peaceful, safeguarded nuclear facilities, first in June and then here. Under international law, these strikes are unlawful and constitute crime of aggression. According to the IAEA resolution, such attacks are violation of the agency's statute. That's why Iran, joined by Russia and supported by China, called for a special session of the IAEA. These attacks are related to the core mandate of the agency. We ask the board to categorically condemn such attacks. We mourn for the loss of our supreme leader and our innocent civilians brutally killed by the US and Israeli regimes. Nevertheless, Iran's great nation is united and determined to resolutely and vigorously defend its country, honor, and interests. Our armed forces will continue to courageously defend the country with all available means. This is our inherent right under Article 51 of the UN Charter. I thank you very much.